We've gotten a few questions. Well, Kira has gotten a few questions, so we're gonna try to cover those questions as much as we can. We will talk about pretty much why she's here and how did she end up here.
Spoiler alert.
10 years ago.
Hey guys, it's Carol. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have Carlos with me and we are going to be telling the story of how we met. I get asked a lot of questions when people find out I live in El Salvador and they ask, how did we end up here? Why did we choose El Salvador? And the story is kind of interesting. Well, originally I came to El Salvador the first time with my company. I used to work for an insurance company and a call center in the States. And they switched outsourced vendors and asked me if I'd be willing to travel internationally to be the outsourced trainer for them. And I leaped at the chance. I didn't even ask where we were going. It didn't matter. I was just so excited to travel. When I found out that we were coming to El Salvador, I was so excited. I didn't know much about El Salvador before I came here.
I was a manager for this large call center here in El Salvador. So I was told that someone was coming. Well, we've had a few trainers already coming. Somebody showed me a picture of her and kind of went like, look who's coming. And I'm like, oh, okay. She looks cute. She's very cute.
Thank you.
But obviously, I didn't really know anything else about her. And as I would always do with all the people that would come, I had to go and get her. And that's how I first saw her, the moment that I first saw her.
But I had no idea who he was, and I was not looking for a relationship. So I remember seeing him and thinking, it's pretty cute. But focus, Carol, focus. You are here to work. Carlos kept popping into my classroom though.
Mm-hmm. Well, as part of what I had to do is I had to go and check on the progress. Well, obviously this is the class that I showed up the most. There was certain interest in seeing how everything was going.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it was enfocate.
And I loved watching how he would fight for these kids and for them to make it. They had to pass a training and we would just sit there and train like we were boxers and help these kids through.
But within that time, there was a need for us to take them out for dinner, for lunch. We got to know each other. We would laugh. We would have fun.
We formed a really good friendship.
Yeah. It was just. We made a great team. We definitely made a great team because we were both wanting these guys to succeed.
So yeah, after my 6 weeks were up, I had to return home and it was really sad because we formed a really good friendship and I didn't know when I would get to come back to El Salvador. I didn't know if I would ever see him again, honestly. And that was kind of sad.
Then she was sent back.
Yeah, 3 months later.
She was sent back and we again teamed up to be able to make it successful again and do the best we could. We started liking each other, but it wasn't, obviously we worked together, so we were more focused on that. But still, I mean, we knew that we had to be professional. But we had this conversation where I felt hinted, there was, that she liked me. She kind of said there was a line that we couldn't cross and I was like, a line? What line? What do I need to cross?
I tried to tell him, okay, I am really glad to have you as my friend and I know I like you, but I don't think we can do anything about it. There's this line, we can't cross it. We have to just remain friends. But all he heard was,
I need to cross a line. There's a line I need to cross. And I'm like, what line? I don't see any lines.
I've since later learned to never tell him he can't do anything. Because that's just like ammunition and fuel and he will make it happen.
And she was sent back to the States once again. She went back home with a book that I gave her.
The Alchemist.
Yeah, she I guess that kind of helped. And we said goodbye. And then, okay, are we gonna see each other again? What's gonna happen?
And we didn't know, honestly. We knew we liked each other. We knew that we were good friends, but it was what it was. I got sent back to the States. And upon arrival back in the States, I actually received a call from my boss telling me not to be friends with him anymore, that we really kind of had to end communication because it wasn't professional, blah, blah, blah. I actually asked where in the HR handbook it was not appropriate because we worked for separate companies. I was a trainer, he was a manager. I specifically asked and was told, it's not in there. It's just, we don't like it. We need to that's El Salvador and we're us. And I'm like, what? So we actually stopped talking.
For a day?
It was like 26 hours maybe, yeah. We really tried. So time went by and I was like, I have some vacation time saved up. And he was like, I have some vacation time saved up. But we weren't supposed to be talking anymore. So I couldn't come to El Salvador and he couldn't come to Washington. So we thought, let's meet in Guatemala. We were gonna go to Antigua. We had it all set. But then my boss noticed we had the same vacation days.
Yep. And they were changed.
Yeah. So then they were denied and I got moved. So we came up with a new plan. I would just bring him to Washington and keep him hostage in my apartment.
That doesn't sound right. It's not like that. What happened was she was so afraid that somebody was going to see me that I arrived at Washington and she was paranoid. She was just, no, you can't go out. Don't let anybody see you in the parking lot. Don't let anybody see you. So I'm stuck in there what am I
in my
gonna
teeny tiny
do?
1-bedroom apartment.
And I'm stuck in there while she has to go to work. So what happened, and this is funny, one day I'm bored, imagine just watching TV, and then I say, okay, I'm gonna wash the dishes. So I've never had a dishwasher before, so I put in all the dishes. I thought, okay, I've seen her do it, but I grabbed the dish soap, regular dish soap, and put it in, and turned it on, and went to watch TV, and all of a sudden I see bubbles. And I looked to the dishwasher and it was awful. I made a mess. I had to clean it up. I mean, it was just incredible. So I just kept on asking her, can you please get this at the store? Can you get this other thing? So she wouldn't come back. And I just cleaned the whole kitchen where the washer was, obviously. And then she came back and I guess she noticed and decided, no.
Well, all of my towels were soaking wet.
Yeah. So we're like, no, we gotta at least go somewhere.
And the funny thing is, you've been stuck in my apartment for like 3 days. We've been in quarantine for like a year now.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. So he wanted to go. Well, I lived in Spokane, Washington. So he thought, hey, if we can't go out in Spokane, why don't we go to Seattle, which is like all the way over on the west side of the state. And I was still so paranoid that someone would see us in Seattle. Now, to put that into perspective, how far away is Seattle?
7 hours drive.
It's like 2 El Salvadors.
So I'm like, okay. So if we can't go to Seattle because you're afraid that between all those millions of tourists and people, I might be spotted.
That would be like somebody spotting us in Costa Rica.
Well, we did that and it happened. So.
That is true. That's another story.
But, so, okay, where do we go? So we choose this little town.
Teeny tiny.
Like 3 hours away, or 2.5, called Kennewick. I don't know why we decided to go to, there was a Walmart, there was a Target, so I can go shopping there. So I drive to Kennewick.
Through onion farms, and there's not a whole lot between Spokane and Seattle. Well, there's Kennewick. So we went to Kennewick. We saw a movie.
Oh yeah, we saw a movie, that's all we did.
So we head back to Spokane, and it comes time for Carlos to have to leave and go back to El Salvador. So
I'm coming.
yeah?
With the unicorn.
With a unicorn.
Yeah. I gotta come, guys.
So we got back to Spokane and the time came Carlos was gonna have to leave the next day. And we had a conversation about where this relationship was gonna go. Because at this point, it was a relationship and we wanted it to work. We had no idea how important it was gonna be at the time, but we knew there was something there. Now, in order for us to pursue our relationship, there was only one option, El Salvador. We were not going to be able to do it in the States, and the reason for that is simple.
Yeah, well, I have a 13-year-old now. At that
Yeah.
time, she was 2, my baby, Ariel. So there was no way I was going to move out of the country. I mean, it would have to be either you come with me and live in El Salvador, or there's nothing. So that was pretty much the message in the decision.
Yeah, he couldn't. So yeah, it had to be El Salvador. The States was not even on the table because he couldn't leave his daughter and I couldn't be with a man who could leave his daughter. So if we were gonna make it work, it was gonna have to be in El Salvador. So we talked about it. I was gonna think about it. Until then, we were gonna continue our long distance relationship. So I dropped him off at the airport on my way into the office. I go into the office, so sad, I'm crying the whole way. And then I get there and I'm like, okay, time to work, time to focus. And I get called into HR and I am let know that I have been fired for seeing him. So,
While I'm at the airport, I get this call, and it's obviously Carol telling me that she had just been fired. And I'm like, okay. So she's out of her job, and the only thing was, let's speed up the process. I mean, if we're planning on having a relationship in El Salvador anyway, just do it now. Do it!
come. And so I did. I sold everything that I could sell. I gave away everything that I couldn't sell. So with my 4 suitcases, I get on the plane and I am ready to start my move. He picks me up, and you picked me up with a Pilsner.
With
You
the
gave-
Pilsner and the ceviche.
Pilsner and a ceviche. He's a good man.
And we're like, oh my God, we're finally together. I mean, this is now for real. It seemed so surreal before, but now having her there, seeing all the luggage, seeing like she's like, I'm here, and let's start
do
our
this
life.
thing.
There have been so many things in our lives. I mean, that if you guys really need to hear. Well, my best friend married my ex-wife. So, and we get along and we have a really good family, and you have to hear this story because it's really, really cool.
Or the fact that we had 2 more beautiful baby girls.
Yep. That were totally unexpected because we didn't think we could.
I didn't
So-
think I could.
Yeah, so there are many things that we gotta share with you guys, and it's been fun being with you. There's a bunch of questions. I remember somebody saying, did you convince her to stay with yuca frita?
Those are good though.
It wasn't
The
yuca frita.
pescaditos.
It was, I think it was a sorbete de chorro. It's an ice cream. It's local, artisanal ice cream. Remember I got
That did
from-
help, but I think it was mostly the ceviches.
But it wasn't yuca frita. She did not meet me at a pupuseria where I was making pupusas.
I met him at work.
Yeah, and we've answered pretty much how we met and how everything ended up in this really cool relationship that we have. And we really want to share a bunch of things, the cultural differences. It's really a topic that we want to share. There's so many things that are so different.
And there's a lot of things that are the same that people don't realize.
Yeah.
But you guys asked so many great questions. We didn't get a chance to answer all of them in this video, but we are going to make a separate video where we answer all of your questions. And if you have any more questions for us,
Yeah.
please comment down below. We'll make sure to answer them in the next video.
Yep.
We really appreciate you guys, and we are glad that you are here on the journey with us.
It's been fun going back and telling this story again. There's so much to say still. So much to tell you guys. And if we left out anything from this period of time, we'll get back to it.
Yeah,
But it's been fun. It's been really good. And I think the whole what people what most of them ask is like, is it worth it? Was it worth it? Did you like it?
100%. 10 years
Totally.
later, 10 years later, and I still get butterflies. He doesn't like when I compliment him, but honestly, I still feel the same way that I did the first moment that I
We
saw
are
him.
happy. We are happy. We have a lovely family, and let's hope you guys continue seeing our videos.
Yeah, we're happy to have you here.
Yeah.
Bye, you guys. Have an amazing day.
Hey, look! I'm much bigger.